Every night, they stand perfectly still in front of a mirror. Even when they're pushed past the point of exhaustion, they don't dare rest for even a second. Every single one of them has to keep their face completely calm, not a hint of panic allowed, because when night falls, a group of mysterious creatures gathers outside the cabin, watching them, mimicking their every move, and if anyone tries to fight back, these things will tear them apart. Some have tried escaping through the forest during the day, but no matter which direction they run, they always end up right back where they started. Then when darkness comes, the creatures swarm out, tracking the runners by scent, and slaughtering them without mercy. Our story takes place in a deep, mysterious forest in Western Ireland. Legend has it that no one who enters this place ever makes it out alive. Our main character is Mina, a pet shop employee. One day, her boss asks her to deliver a parrot to a zoo. It's a long haul, a full day's drive one way. After resting for the night, Mina sets off with the parrot. The scenery along the way is gorgeous, putting her at ease, and she chats with the parrot in its cage from time to time. Following her GPS, Mina drives into a dense stretch of forest. That's when the signal suddenly cuts out, and her car dies completely. She tries to restart it, but nothing works. She gets out, grabs the parrot, and decides to look for help from nearby residents. But she doesn't get far before she stops in her tracks. The dark, overgrown woods surrounding her fill her with a deep sense of dread. She tries to head back to the car, but she's completely lost. She searches frantically for any sign of her vehicle. The sky grows darker by the minute, and her fear reaches a breaking point. Just then, a flock of crows bursts out of the trees. Mina nearly jumps out of her skin. The ground starts shaking violently. A figure darts past her, and Mina immediately chases after it, hoping for help, but the old woman ahead won't say a word. She just keeps running. Mina follows close behind until they reach a wooden cabin. The woman turns around and tells Mina, if she wants to live, get inside, now. Mina doesn't hesitate. She rushes through the door. Inside are two other people. The man is Daniel, the woman is Sierra, and the elderly woman is Madeline. Just like Mina, they're all lost travelers trapped in this place. After quick introductions, the three pull Mina into a bizarre ritual. Everyone lines up in front of a mirror. Madeline explains that after sunset every day, the watchers emerge from the forest. To survive, they must stand before the mirror and let the creatures observe them. The watchers are thrilled by the newcomer. They express their welcome with deafening applause. Mina stands motionless before the mirror, not daring to let her guard down for a second. She barely makes it through the night. As soon as dawn breaks, she rushes outside, desperate to leave. Daniel warns her, no one has ever made it out of this forest, but Mina won't listen. All she can think about is getting home. She hasn't gone far when she hears someone calling from behind. She turns around and sees her sister Lucy, who died because of her.
Why did you do that?
She bolts toward the rising sun. She runs all the way to a hilltop. In every direction, nothing but endless forest stretches out before her. No way out. Mina breaks down completely. That's when Madeline appears behind her and tells her the truth.
We've all tried, and failed.
In this forest, humans are nothing but prey for the watchers. If you want to survive, you follow the rules, move freely during the day, but never cross the boundary line. After sunset, the watchers come out to feed. Over time, the three of them have figured out the creatures' habits. To keep the watchers entertained, Daniel performs stand-up comedy in front of the mirror. Sierra does her dance routines. Mina just sits on the couch watching TV. With this system, they manage to get through another night safely. The next day, they split into two groups to gather supplies. Mina is dying to know what the watchers actually look like. Sierra says she's been trapped here for 5 months, and has never seen one in person. She takes Mina to one of the watchers' burrows. These creatures fear sunlight, so during the day they hide underground. There are many of these burrows scattered throughout the forest, and Sierra warns Mina to stay far away from them. After returning with supplies, Madeline reminds Mina of 2 unbreakable rules. First, never open the door after dark. Second, never enter a watcher's burrow. That night, once the others are asleep, Mina creeps over to the mirror. She's burning with curiosity about what these watchers look like. She even wonders if they're real at all. She presses her ear against the glass and listens for a long time, but it's eerily silent outside. She gives up and heads back to the couch. But moments after lying down, there's a knock at the door. Mina panics instantly. Madeline quickly signals her not to move.
Hold still, Mina. Hold still. Just let them see you.
The next day, Mina goes out with Daniel to scavenge. During their conversation, she brings up the watchers again. Daniel says he's been here a full year, and has never seen one either. Everything he knows came from Madeline. Doubt creeps into Mina's mind. She convinces Daniel to sneak into one of the burrows and find out for themselves. Daniel stays at the entrance, gripping the rope tightly, while Mina lowers herself into the depths. There are no watchers down there, just piles of everyday household items. Mina ties a bicycle and some supplies to the rope for Daniel to haul up. Just as she's about to climb back out, something behind her seems to be creeping closer. Thankfully, the watcher recoils from the daylight above, and she barely escapes with her life. Back at the cabin, the two claim they found the supplies scattered in the woods. Madeline doesn't buy it for a second. Daniel takes apart the salvaged items and rigs together a camera. They plan to use it to capture what the watchers actually look like. They sit quietly around the table, waiting for nightfall. After what feels like forever, a pair of legs appears on the screen. Madeline immediately tells everyone not to make any sudden moves. She suspects it's a trap. Minutes later, a man's voice cries out for help from outside. The voice sounds exactly like her missing husband, John. Days ago, John left alone to find help and never came back. The man outside keeps begging Sierra to open the door, claiming he's badly injured and needs help. Madeline blocks the door immediately, telling everyone this is a watcher's trick. They absolutely cannot open it, but John keeps sobbing and pleading, and Sierra insists on letting him in. Madeline urges her to ask something only the real John would know. If he answers correctly, then they'll know it's really him. Sierra agrees and asks, what was the name of the book they bought together in Dublin? John doesn't answer. He just keeps begging her to open the door. Sierra then tells John there's a camera by his feet. She asks him to lean down and show his face. John gets on the ground and brings his face close to the lens. The next instant, a watcher appears out of nowhere, and John vanishes from the frame. The watchers are furious that Mina and Daniel broke the rules by entering the burrow. They pound on the windows in a frenzy. The four of them stand before the mirror, praying desperately. After several agonizing minutes, the creature's rage finally subsides. The next day, Madeline throws all the related equipment into the burrow and warns the others once more, follow the rules or die. After that, they split up to gather supplies. Mina pairs with Sierra. Before long, they hear shouting in the distance and rush over to find Daniel has tied Madeline up. He's had enough of her rules and restrictions. He storms off in a rage. Sierra runs after him, while Mina stays to untie Madeline. Night falls. Mina and Madeline return to the cabin, but no matter how much they shout, Daniel refuses to open the door. In desperation, Madeline pulls Mina into a thick patch of bushes. Soon, a bone-chilling sound comes from above. A massive hand drops down from overhead. The two hold their breath, not daring to make a sound. Luckily, the rotting branches mask their scent. In the light spilling from the cabin windows, Mina finally sees what the watchers truly look like. Swarms of watchers gather around the cabin. When they realize two people are missing from inside, they scatter in all directions, launching a hunt. The two women seize the moment and sprint to the cabin door. After Mina's desperate pleading, Daniel finally opens up. Madeline immediately orders everyone to line up, praying the watchers will show mercy again. But this time, the creatures aren't feeling forgiving. They slam against the door with terrifying force. Everyone shoves the heavy table against it, trying to buy time, but the flimsy door won't hold for long. They need an escape route, fast. In the chaos, Sierra notices a rolled-up carpet nearby. She pulls it back to reveal a hidden trapdoor. Daniel forces it open, and they all scramble through. Once they're in the basement, they're stunned. It's stocked with plenty of supplies, and Mina finds a computer. She powers it on immediately. The files contain detailed work journals, records of a biology professor named Martin, who was studying extraterrestrial creatures in this very spot. The journals reveal that these alien beings are obsessed with mimicking human behavior, as if trying to assimilate into human society. To further his research, the professor deliberately lured villagers from nearby settlements, sacrificing them to the creatures. He even managed to capture one alive using this method. After reading through the entries, no one can stomach looking any further. Mina is convinced these videos hold the key to escaping the forest. Sure enough, in the final recording, the professor reveals the way out. Near boundary marker 134, there's a river. He left a boat by the riverbank. Follow the direction the birds fly, and you can make it out of the forest. When they hear this, everyone is overwhelmed with relief and joy. The next morning, they climb out of the basement to find the cabin completely destroyed by the creatures. With Madeline leading the way, they follow the markers they'd left during their supply runs, and reach boundary 134. Mina opens the birdcage and releases the parrot. They all chase after it, running for their lives. But disaster strikes again. The clear sky suddenly darkens with heavy rain. Without sunlight for protection, It's the perfect hunting conditions for the Watchers. The creatures pour out in droves, giving chase. By some miracle, the group makes it to the river, but just then, Sierra realizes Daniel is gone. She turns back and sees something deeply wrong. Daniel is dragging John's body, walking slowly toward the river. Sierra knows John died that night. She screams, trying to warn Daniel. But it's too late. The Watcher disguised as John drops its facade and brutally kills Daniel. The remaining 3 leap onto the boat. They've barely pushed off from shore when a horde of Watchers reaches the water's edge. But these creatures can't swim. All they can do is stand there, watching helplessly as the boat drifts away. When the sun finally rises the next morning, the 3 survivors have made it out of that nightmare forest at last.